your bottom line is you having more clientele and being able to do this full time, then you need to know right now that you don't have that much time in general to be working a 9 to 5. You know that you can go back and get a 9 to 5. You know that you can go back and get a 9 to 5 if this does not work out. What is good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Autumn and I train aspiring lash artists and provide digital courses and content for the service-based beautypreneur. All right, you guys, so I have a really good video for you today. We're gonna have another one of our talks today. So one of my subscribers, her name is Kia, I believe. She left a comment on my last video and she asked me, how would you go about managing your 9 to 5 while trying to build your lash business or having your lash business as a side hustle? And how basically do you navigate it? Because she said it's stressing her out. So girl, I got some tea for you. I got some advice and a few little tips and things to think about. So grab your drink, grab a pen and paper, or just, take some notes in your phone. I thought it would be fun to get some flashcards this time, you guys, instead of using my whiteboard. My vision is not the best anymore, so this makes me feel a little bit more fancy. So let's get started. All right, so for me, you guys, I know that making the jump is really hard, and I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you do have hopes to make your lash business a full-time thing, whether you want to go into it for it to mainly be your source of income and to maybe have a part-time job on the side, or just fully go into doing your lash business. Then all these things are possible for you guys. I want you to know that regardless of how your situation looks right now, if you are in a job that you don't like, if you are in a situation that you don't like and you're kind of struggling, that things won't always be the same, you guys, and you can change your entire life and have the life that you want. So don't look at things as if they're hard right now. We want to think from a solution-based perspective. So I'm hoping to give you a little bit more of some things to think about, so that way you can figure out the solution that works best for you. So the thing is, you guys, you really want to figure out necessarily what it is that you want. Do you want to keep your 9 to 5? Do you see yourself keeping your 9 to 5? And how long do you think that you want to keep your 9 to 5? Or do you want to go full into what you're doing and kind of like think, overall what you want your life to look like? For me, I always think about what I want my life to look like, how I want my days to go, and how I see myself operating throughout a certain phase of my life. So when I set out to do my business full time, I did it from a point of me really wanting to be on my own time. So for me, that was what I really wanted. And I knew me working a 9 to 5 or for a company was not going to grant me my time back, which for me at this point in my life is more important to me than necessarily working my way up in a corporate ladder. So you really want to think about where you are right now in your life and overall what you want your life to look like. So once you kind of figure that out, you guys, we need to talk about making a plan. And I know planning doesn't always go according to plan, of course, but you want to have a rough plan, just because life is going to life, you guys. Things are going to happen in life, but you have to have a certain projected outline or a little direction in life and where you want to go. So that way, you know that if things come up, you'll be a little bit more prepared to deal with it. And just planning in general just kind of helps you to kind of have a certain direction that you feel like you can go on. And even if you veer off the path a little bit, you can get back on once you kind of know what your end goal is. All right. So I want you to write a list of 5 things that your 9 to 5 gives you that is such a benefit to you. Like, okay, so I know job security is not necessarily a thing, but when you really think about it, when you know exactly what you're making every 2 weeks or monthly or whatever your salary is, when you know exactly what that is compared to the bills and everything that you have in your life right now, that is a little bit more job security. And let's face it, when you do have a business or you go full time in your business, you're not always going to know exactly what you make. Now, you may know what average, but you won't necessarily know down to a T what you're going to make. So you have to consider that if you're thinking about going in full time right away, or your projected goals. So there's some things you have to put into motion and in place to be ordered in order to be able to do the full-time thing. So for some people, it's going to be extremely different. So some other things that may benefit you is a certain amount of vacation time, paid vacations, bonuses, sick leave, or whatever it is. Whatever you get from your 9 to 5, you want to write a list of things down that benefit you from that, right? So after you do that, this is a good time for us to talk about finances, you guys, because I know the biggest aspect of running your own business, the finances in itself and startup costs can sometimes leave you a little bit uncertain on if you want to pursue what you are doing. So it's always good to kind of figure out your finances. So like I said, with your 9 to 5, I'm pretty sure that you know at least a little bit of what you're going to be making. You have an idea, especially when you do a 9 to 5, whether it's from corporate or if you have a certain amount of hours that you work every week, and every 2 weeks you get a certain amount on your paycheck. So you kind of know. And also another thing you have to take into consideration, guys, when you're doing the finances and you're thinking about your finances, if you have a 9 to 5, you have to think about what's important. Like, you're going to think about the fact that you may get health care through your job, and with a business, you're going to have to provide a lot of that for yourself. So you're going to have to take into consideration when you're doing the breakdown of your finances. And what I'm talking about, you guys, is you downloading my free goal sheets and my free savings sheets, you guys. I will leave the links in the description box. Just type in the code FREE and you'll download them for free. You really have to keep track of your finances. So if you're not breaking down what you're currently making at your 9 to 5, you need to go ahead and do that. And you need to see, okay, if I pursue my lash business full-time, what would that necessarily look like? So how many lash sets would I need to do? How many clients would I need to take in order to be able to make the amount of money that my current 9 to 5 affords me? And even if you are thinking like, okay, well, I'm not ready to do that full time, think about how much you would like to save. And so with you doing your side hustle at this point, your lash business, how much do you want to save? Because the thing is, you guys, you need to go ahead and just plan to, if you are trying to make the transition from a 9 to 5 to your lash business, you have to think in terms of how much am I going to save in order to be able to feel comfortable, or how much do I need to save in order for an emergency fund, or whatever the case may have you. So you want to make a plan and draw out a list of like what your finances look like for the month, for what you're getting now and how much you're saving. So if you're not even able to save at this point, then maybe you might want to consider giving yourself a timeline of a certain amount of months or what have you to be able to save a certain amount up, and so that way you can transition over while still keeping your lash business a side hustle. There's nothing wrong with that, you guys. So for me, I'm just gonna tell you guys, I quit my job. Like, for me, I'm a risk taker. I'm not someone who necessarily like will plan everything fully out. I'll have an idea and I'll do like a little rough plan. But what made the most sense for me, you guys, and once again, I want to remind you that what works for me definitely might not work for you, and vice versa. But for me, I knew it only would have made sense for me to quit my job and just start, because the way that my job was, the hours were kind of all over the place. So I never exactly had a set schedule to be able to do my lash clients. It was going to be different every week. And the thing is, you know that you'll make money off of your lash sets, but you really make money from actually your return clients and your consistent clientele. So you need to be able to be available at a certain days and times. So if you do have a 9 to 5 and you do decide to do or work later in the evenings or what have you, then you'll be able to kind of be a little bit more consistent. But if your job is something like retail, where you know that your hours will always be different, you have to consider like either moving to a job that you can have set hours, or figuring out what you can do in order to have a certain amount of time dedicated to your business, because you are going to need that, you guys. So the next thing I want to talk about is maximizing your time. So you do have to put in some work, you guys. And I know that a lot of times it seems like it's easy for some people to get a certain amount of clientele, or easy to get for some people to, you know, be successful with having lash business. And you guys, like I said, I don't have a ton of following and everything, and I do have a full clientele, but what's helped me is to maximize my time and to maximize my systems. So I remember before I really just quit all my jobs, I got my systems in order. So when I'm talking about systems, I'm talking about the back end of your work. So what I'm meaning is a easy to read booking site, a website on top of that, and very clear description of all the services and my policies, like in my website and also in my booking site. I was very clear on how clients could reach me, and I just made it very simplified so that way people knew exactly when I was working and when I had time and what my policies were. No one ever had a question before they booked. As soon as they went to the site, they just knew what it pretty much was. And I was just very you want to be as particular as you can be when you are doing your back-end systems, you guys. Not only is it professional, but it is very important, so that way that you attract the type of clientele that you are looking for through your site, looking professional and not just getting everybody and having to answer a million questions back and forth in the DMs. Like, you want people to go and know, okay, like, this is what it is. So that cuts down on you having to cut in and address everyone when they could just go to your sites and see your systems that you have in place. They know when they book, they're paying that deposit. They know what is it pretty much expected to get a service with you, if that makes sense. So that helped me pretty much, because I was able to just put everything in place, and I really didn't have time to talk to my potential clients or people who were in my DMs and asking me. It was very much easy, and if they had to reach me by phone number, the number was on my booking site through confirmation, and they could reach me through there. So you want to make your site and your systems on the back end very knowledgeable and very like to the point for your clients. So that's the one thing that I see a lot of people struggle with, because they're always booking through DMs or booking through phone and booking through, like, if you have the system set up, people can tell and they could just go do what they need to do. So that way you can maximize your time. All right. So during this time, you guys, I feel like if you are still in the process where you're side hustling, and let's say that you've given yourself, say you made a plan, you guys, say you made a plan where you said that you were going to stay at your current job for about 8 months, you're a 9-to-5, and you decided to save up a certain amount of money in order to feel comfortable transitioning to your lash business. Then you have to, you guys, you have to, in that time where you are not at your 9-to-5, you have to maximize the time to at least put your name out there, you guys. So it doesn't matter if you are taking a whole lot of clients, like, you should be talking about your product. You should, and this is not necessarily just for social media, you guys. Like, for me, like, I'm active on social media, but I'm not as active because my clientele and my target audience has changed, which my target audience is you guys. But when I was looking for clients, I would very much so talk about my services every single place that I went. I would always leave cards. I would always engage with people. You have to do the groundwork in the background. This is how you get people interested in what you do. I would say that if you are in the process of continuously getting clients, you guys, you need to be posting on social media, even posting you practicing, you guys. And people will actually come to you if you're practicing and they see that you're consistent with your practicing. I'm sure they would not have a problem with trying. It's when we're waiting for people to give us a chance before we are showing what we can do. You have to be confident and comfortable enough to fail and to mess up and to not be perfect in the beginning. You have to put yourself out there. You have to talk about what you are providing, because how else are you going to get the clients? They have to see that you feel confident. They have to see that you feel comfortable. They have to see that you are willing to put in the time, because a lot of people are not consistent with their work across the board. If they are they do it for a while, then they fall off, and then they do it for a while and fall off. That's honestly not going to get you the clientele that you need, you guys. So if you're looking to do this full time, I know it's going to be a little bit of a hustle when you are going through this point, when you are trying to get away from your 9-to-5, or if you are trying to at least make your lash business a side hustle and not do and keep your 9-to-5, because your 9-to-5 benefits you. You got the health insurance and all that. That's good too. But you're still going to have set days where you are taking clients, you guys. So you have to maximize your time during this time. And if you are still practicing, there's nothing wrong with that, you guys. You have to practice on your spare time off. So you can download my free lash practice calendar as well. So I will leave that link as well in the description box. But download that and make sure that you guys continue to practice, continue to put forth your effort in the way to get better, you guys. So that is only going to bring in the clientele that's going to attract to you what you are looking for. So in your spare time, you have to figure out ways to maximize your time, all right? And so the next thing I'm going to talk about, you guys know I always talk about niching. So niching, you need to know your specific client. So the number one problem I see with lash artists when they are trying to get clientele, regardless if they have a large following or not, because it's not necessarily about the following, you guys. You're going to make the majority of your money from your return clients. So you have to be able to win them over, but you can't do that when you don't know who you are targeting and who you are talking to and who you are providing the service for. Because if you're just thinking that you're just offering eyelash extensions, who's the target client? Like, you can't service everyone, you guys. So you have to get so in tune and so just definite on who you are talking to when you are posting your pictures, when you are talking to people out in public. You have to really define who that target client is, and you have to have the price to match. You have to have the experience that matches, you guys, and you have to give yourself room to grow in this. So you're going to change your niche a few times as you get more clientele, as you make more money. Yes, but you have to know starting out who you're talking to. So I will leave a video below on niching and how I made more money just by niching. So I'll leave that video below. Make sure you watch that. And so, yeah, you guys, so that is the top two that if you are struggling, I feel like it's either a systems problem, you haven't made your back-end system easy, or it is a niching problem and you don't know who your target audience is. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know exactly what lash services you're really interested in providing. So you have to know that before you decide to just, you know, go all out on your own, or it's going to be hard for you to manage if you don't know what direction you're going. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about, you guys, is changing your mindset. Now, this is probably the biggest thing, because if you are used to working 9-to-5s and used to being corporate, to change over to a entrepreneur or a boss mentality is definitely a little bit more harder, because you have to really put yourself in position to do what is necessary to make your business work, you guys, because you'll definitely find out if you don't have certain standards for yourself, if you know that you can't be late and you're late on your clients, or if you start doing the things that you're doing like at your 9-to-5, like, you will surely be out of business, because you have to give yourself certain standards and rules, and you have to discipline yourself to show up for your business, because at the end of the day, you showing up for your business is showing up for yourself. So you have to change your mindset, not just around how you do business, but how you see yourself, because you have to see yourself as worthy in order to manifest or have the successful business that you want. So honestly, changing your mindset is what's going to pull you through to that level, because if you're unhappy with something, and even though something is stressing you out, you guys, you have to know that something has to give. Now for me, I've told you guys that my target audience has changed because I'm no longer necessarily taking on a whole bunch of clients to call necessarily my clients. I'm more the teacher now. So what does that tell me? I don't have time to really take a whole lot of clients. So I need to move in that direction before I feel like I'm ready in order to call it in. So me not taking as many clients and me working less has actually made me move in that direction that I was looking for. So now I do teach way more than I am behind the chair, and I am now working towards doing the things that I want to do for the next phase of my career. So you have to have kind of like that little bit of crazy faith in order to do the things that you want to do, because you can't look and wait for the outside to show that, okay, like it's working. Like, no, you have to move in that direction and, you know, believe it, because you have to believe in you, girl. Ain't nobody else gonna be out here really telling you. Like, you just know for yourself. You have to believe in yourself, you guys. So you have to change your mindset. And one way you can really do this, guys, like I said, is you need to think about how you want your life to be. Now, for me, I want to live my life a certain way, right? I want to be on my own time. So that is my factor behind what I do to free up my time now a little more than what it was. So for you, it could be to grow your business, to get more clients. And so right now, if that's where you are, then you have to think about, like, if your bottom line is you having more clientele and being able to do this full time, then you need to know right now that you don't have that much time in general to be working a 9-to-5. So honestly, you guys, putting a cap on when you're going to leave your 9-to-5 if you're transitioning, but doing it in a smart way. Everybody ain't gonna quit like I did, because that's just what I do. I knew I had to quit. I knew for me, it made more sense for me to be available for people to come back continuously than to just try to get them in whenever, because there was no one else in my area who was as consistent. So I knew it would benefit me. I just had to trust the process, you guys. And so that really is what it is, because you know that you can go back and get a 9-to-5. You know that you can go back and get a 9-to-5 if this does not work out. So you guys, give yourself that opportunity. If this is what you want out of life, you want to make a little bit of a rough plan. You want to get your finances in order, and you want to actually put the work in and change your mindset from a corporate 9-to-5 or a worker to a boss, to a entrepreneur, to that boss/artist who's on her own time, you guys. And it can be done, you guys. I'm here to tell you it can be done. All right. So I hope that this video helped you, you guys. And if you have any more questions or you want me to do any more topics, please let me know down below. So I hope you have a good one wherever you are. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.